Hey guys, Toki here, bringing you our sixth 5 minute or less raid guide for Vaulted Incarnates. These guides are meant to give you a rundown of the fight while skipping over common threats such as dodging swirlies and focusing on the really fight defining mechanics for each boss. I highly recommend you supplement this guide by watching other guides with actual fight footage so you know what these mechanics look like. In addition, I need to caveat that this strategy is based on information we've received from beta. We're closely monitoring any changes Blizzard might make and will adjust our strategy closer to raid week. With that out of the way, I'd like to share our strategy for Kurog Grimtotem. Kurog Grimtotem seems to be a rather complicated boss with 4 altars, and you guessed it, they're fire, frost, earth, and electric. Sensing a theme here. Each of these altars will empower the boss with unique abilities, and we have to drag him to one of these altars, or else we'll suffer significant raid damage in the middle of the room. I'll go over the altars in priority, but first, I'm going to shamelessly plug this lovely, questionably epic diagram that helps explain them. Our first priority to drag the boss to will be the Earth altar. The Earth Altar has some healing absorb debuffs. It has a melee circle to move out. Think Sludge Fist. And it has a seismic rupture at 100 energy where you have to dodge the swirls and kill ads. Easy peasy. Our second priority is the Frost Altar, in which case there's raid damage. There are orbs that shoot out from the boss. Be careful, melee, that will stun you for 6 seconds if you're hit, as well as absolute zero. At 100 energy, it'll target 2 players for group soaks that must individually be soaked. Think melee and range groups. Our third priority will be the Storm Altar, in which case they mark players with a lightning debuff that needs to be paired up with a non debuffed player. Think Anduin Rin, but a little bit simpler. They also have Shocking Burst, which is a 12-yard circle that'll detonate on expiration, move out of the raid forehead, and Thunderstrike. At 100 energy, it'll spawn lightning marks that everyone has to soak to avoid significant raid-wide damage. Our last priority and the altar that we will avoid, if at all possible, is the Fire Altar. You need to stack near the wall to bait lava puddles, which will have persistent area denial for a significant amount of time. You have to dodge swirlies, and at 100 energy, he'll cast Searing Carnage, which, similar to Council Blood and Castle Nathria, will cause swirlies to drop under multiple players' feet, and you'll have to move as a group to consolidate where the swirlies go. Different from Castle Nathria is that they will also leave persistent lava patches on the ground that will deny area on the ground. So we really have to make sure we're tight on that. Now, in the intermission phase at 66% and 33%, ads will spawn. At the moment, it is unclear what causes what ads to spawn, whether it is what altars you were previously at, or if it's more random. But either case, each of the ads do specific abilities based on what element they're from. The Earth ad does tank damage and void zones. Pretty easy and simple. The Storm ad will jump to a player and do high damage to them, as well as players around that player. You need to spread away, potentially use damage mitigation cooldowns, either Bark Skin or Blessing of Sacrifice, something along those lines, and just heal forehead. The Frost ad needs to be interrupted and does pulsing damage if you're farther away from him. Everyone needs to move into melee range with this ad. And then finally, that leaves the Fire ad, which will drop lava pools. You have to make sure you tank him in an area that you're not going to be in next, because again, lots of area deniability. And that's it for the intermission. And then you rinse and repeat the main phase until you get sub 33%. Sub 33%, the boss begins to use all of its elemental powers and gets a stacking damage buff. This is where we're hero and we burn. And I hate to say it because it is rather complicated, but that's all there is to this fight. We repeat the strategy until either we die or the boss dies. And so that concludes our strategy on Kurog Grimtotem. Make sure to smash that like button for the algorithm or something. Happy raiding.